welcome back to our Summit Pro virtual summit, all about podcasting. And today we're so honored to have Precious Williams. Hey, Precious.
Hey.
We are so psyched to have Precious with us. I heard her speak a couple weeks ago, and she is just all that. So her nickname is Killer Pitchmaster. Yeah. So for sure, we're like, Lissa, we got to get her on here. So I'm going to turn it over to Killer Pitchmaster herself and just let her go and give us a little bit of background and how you became to be what you are today.
Okay, no problem. So good day, everyone. I'm Precious Williams. I'm the proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious. And they call me the Killer Pitchmaster because I help my clients slay all competition. As a 13-time national elevator pitch champion, did you hear the words national? Like national, that's what I do. National elevator pitch champion. I've gone up against some of the best in the world and have come out on top 13 out of 14 times. From there, I've been on shows like Shark Tank, CNN, Wall Street Journal, Forbes magazine, movies, top business shows around the world. And I'm from the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri. So it wasn't destiny. It wasn't that people thought I was so great as a little kid. Not really. Not really. I grew up with a mother who did not want me and a father who was a drug addict. So me being a speaker is still shocking to my family because, listen, no one ever went to college. No one. And I have a law degree. I have a college degree. First high school graduate, queen of my high school. So I did a lot of cool things. And at the end of the day, being a world-class master communicator, you can just call me a bad bitch with a power pitch. Oh, and I wrote the #1 bestseller, Bad Bitches and Power Pitches for Women Entrepreneurs and Speakers Only. So I'm an international professional speaker. I am a corporate trainer. Speaks Precious in a nutshell.
Perfect. I love it. That's amazing.
See how I wanted to get her on, Lissa? Yeah. She's our role model.
Right. Oh my gosh. So tell us a little bit about how you got into the pitch game. Where did you get that start from?
It's so funny. I've been speaking professionally since I was 16 years old, and I just turned 41. So I have 25 years as a speaker. Back in 2010, I ended a 7-year relationship and put a little ad on a website that I'm not going to say what it is because it'll make me look bad. But anyway, I put a little ad on a Computer Tango, and I actually wound up meeting a very famous Hollywood actor. And I thought it was a game and a joke until I met him in real life. And back then, I don't look as fabulous as I can today. But when I met him, I was 327 pounds. So no, I thought nothing would ever come from it. But we had this red hot love affair. And I could not get over it. I was like, oh my God, like this is really happening. And when I tell you can get anyone with the perfect pitch, you really can, because I did. And so I wanted to start a lingerie company called Curvy Girls Lingerie. And I was an attorney, but I wasn't, as much as I love being a litigator, the thought of spending 40 years in court, I couldn't do it. So I wanted to start a lingerie company, not a designer, none of that, but I just knew I could make it. And so what do most of your friends say? Most of the people who love you, girl, you big. They're not going to ever put you on television. They're never going to give you a shot. Yeah. But I just kept having this thing. I want to do it for the curvy girls, not plus size women, because we all know what that sounds like. And so one of the things I learned is, how do you win an unwinnable war? You change the language and you change the game. So I came up with full-figure divas and plus size fashionistas. And I had negative $400 in my bank account because I quit every job I had. And I walked up boldly to the producers at MSNBC, didn't know what I was going to say, but I just introduced myself. And I guess I went in a pitching mode, and they loved it. And they brought the host to talk to me, but then she got called up on stage, so they brought me the booking producer. And she just told me to pitch, and I had no idea what to say. And I was like, lips don't fail me now. Yeah. And I just went in, and she was like, you can be on the show. Now, my company wasn't real. What came out of my mouth is whatever God wanted to come out of my mouth. And to the shock of everyone, I pitched myself on national television and went from negative $400 to $500,000 in one appearance.
Wow, that's amazing.
Why I'm the killer.
I know.
And yes, I did that 327 pounds. And yes, I am a Black woman. And yes, I am educated. But even if I wasn't, I have the skill set. I talked my way out of the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri, to the top of New York, to filming movies in Malibu and Italy. Like, I did a lot of things that I even still astound me. Like, how did I have that to do? So that's why they call me the killer pitch master.
So that is amazing.
I've got it. Okay, so awesome. This is the third time I've heard it, and I have tears in my eyes and goosebumps. So let me just bring you back to what do you think within you? You'd mentioned God a couple times. What prompted you or came over you through your upbringing to know that you were going to be public speaking at 13 and then on and on and on? What happened?
I actually don't. First of all, my grandparents decided to ask my father to raise me when I was 15, and I didn't want to go because I'm like, they're old. And again, I always say best decision I never made. Yeah. My grandmother, when I was a little girl, I had no idea she'd been waiting for me. She'd just been waiting and biding her time. And so when I stepped into her home at 15, she just said all of these loving words over me. Like, you have the gift of speech. You have the gift of connection. She said so many things. Now, at that time, I was in special education classes, not because I was special, but just because I didn't care. And she made me care about education. She said I was her golden child. She made me do affirmations. I didn't know at 16 years old that the principal of my high school would come to me and say, I want you to speak at an event. I had no idea that would happen. And when I did, it was before the mayor of the city of St. Louis. And I killed the game. I didn't write my speech, didn't rehearse it beforehand, just did it. And my second speaking engagement was before the governor of Missouri. So it was like, there are certain things that have happened that just defy logic, honestly. But it set me on this path of, I'm a great speaker. Now, at the time, did I think that would be my life's calling? No. But the older I have gotten, even when I went off to college on a full scholarship, even when I went to law school at Georgetown on a full scholarship, even when I went to Rutgers on a full scholarship, it still didn't occur to me that was truly my gift. And only in my 30s did I really see it. And yes, it happened, from the MSNBC's Your Business with J.J. Ramberg experience, and it just kept it going and winning those competitions and just realizing that pitching is something that everybody needs to know. From our young kids, how to be able to articulate your value and your worth. How do you do that? How do you do that? What if you don't have great math grades, which I never did? What if you don't have the greatest grades of all time? And I always say your soft skills will take you further than just having a PhD. I have a JD. I don't think people care that I have a JD. It's a nice to have, but people don't care. They're like, the way I make them feel. And again, I don't tell people what they want to hear. I tell them what they need to hear. Right. And so when I started pitching on behalf of the 40 million women, size 14 or larger in the United States, just like me, and we all want pretty underwear, it's just too bad the most mainstream lingerie companies don't create any products for women our size. So that's why I created Curvy Girls Lingerie. Not only is this a big and sizable population, but if you don't create anything for us, we don't know what's out there. And it takes someone who has vision to see something that isn't there and to make it possible. And that's what you do in a pitch. And of course people are like, fat girl, nobody cares. And I'm like, you can call me the female MacGyver business. Give me 2 toothpicks and I'll show you how
you can call me anything you want, but yeah.
So I'm very proud. So when I see a Lizzo, when I see, and people go in, like, when I see all of that, I'm thinking, man, I did that years ago. Years ago.
You set the stage, really.
I did. And I did. And remember Ashley Graham was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and I thought, that was really incredible to see something before its time.
That's amazing. So speaking of like pitches, what are your top 3 tips for creating that killer pitch?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that question. So my top 3 tips for creating, a killer pitch, in addition to the basics that you can find on Google. Number 1, be a master storyteller. No matter what kind of time you have, be able to tell a story. If you have 30 seconds, I say take no more than 26 seconds on the entire pitch, right? But you want to be able to sum up a story very, very quickly. And the way we all learn is through stories, right? So you ever talk to your girlfriend, you don't just say, he's horrible. You just go in on him, right? Like, you give all of it. So think about it like that. Like, what does your audience need to hear about, why did you start the company? Who is it really for? Who are you servicing? Why, right? Number 2, begin with the end in mind. What is your overall goal for your pitch? Is it the media attention? Is it for influencers to want to work with you? Is it for clients and customers? And one of the things that I learned when I was pitching in competitions was the money is the least that's going to come. But you want certain people to take notice of you who never knew you before. And so that's why I got all of those television appearances, because people had never seen a full-figure diva on the stage. Never seen it. You know, I guess I was supposed to walk in and feel like, oh my God, I'm not quite good enough. I walked in like, lights, camera, action. When I walked through the door, what? Beyonce up in here, not Kelly or Michelle. I was like, I'm the star. And once you know that, and hashtag, I said what I said. I'm not going to back down from what I just said, but I am Beyonce. Yep. I listen. I am. Yep. Number 3, if you don't practice, it's worthless. Yeah. If you really want to sound polished, you have to practice perfectly to perform perfectly. That means getting in front of your mirror and going in and going in. Like in the beginning, you're just saying the words and getting used to the words. Mm-hmm. Then you want to start to figure out, how do you set it on fire? What words do you place emphasis on? What things do you want them to get? What images do you want them to have in their mind? That only happens with practice. And as an international professional speaker, no matter where I am in the world, people will tell you they love it when I start speaking, because I don't do the average, the random, or the ordinary. I'm not going to thank everybody in the beginning. Listen, I can wait to the end. Go in on these people. Go in, give them a show. They're going to talk about you anyway. Might as well give them a show. Those are my top 3 tips.
Oh my God, we could talk to you all day. I'm just like awestruck. This is incredible. This is like a
I know, point. I should be like taking notes.
Oh, we're taking notes.
I always say in podcasts, say, listen, you shouldn't be doing the heavy lifting. I should be. Because I know my craft very well.
Mm-hmm. We just ask questions.
You ask questions, but we've all been on podcasts where either the host has been horrible or the guest has been horrible. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be horrible. I'm going to give you a show.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, that's so great. So let me just ask you too. I know we're going to respect your time. We could talk to you the whole time. So our whole podcast or our virtual summit is all about podcasting. So we have a sentence that we'd love you to finish. Mm-hmm. Podcasting does for me ...
Podcasting for me. That's a good one. Podcasting for me brings me before the people who shake the world. Podcasting for me introduces me to new areas and new people who never knew I existed, and now they want to rock with me. They want to become my clients. They want me to teach and train at their companies, and they also want to be associated with my brand. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As an African American woman who has dominated in a space with people who look nothing like me, of course I'm going to stand out. I'm going to stand out for good reasons. I am articulate. I am fun. I am the things that you don't see on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. You know what I mean? I'm not fighting with anybody. You know, when you dominate, there's no need to fight. I am who I am. And so podcasting has opened the world to me in a way that other mediums have not. It's easily accessible. Mm-hmm. And you can just sit and listen to greatness while you're in the car. It's just so fun.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing. So if somebody wants to know more about you or maybe work with you, where can they find you at?
Well, first, you can find me. So I'm Precious Williams, CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious. So my website is www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. My email address is precious@perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. On LinkedIn, I am Precious Williams, Killer Pitchmaster. On Twitter, I am at Perfect Pitch P. On Facebook, I am at Perfect Pitch P. And on Instagram, I'm at Perfect Pitches P. And that's how you can get in contact with me.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being part of our summit. One last thing before we go, if you could give a piece of advice to a woman who's struggling to create that perfect pitch to stand out, what would that one piece of advice be?
Okay, great question. Number one, I want you to type the word pitches, PITCHES, to the number 66866. It is a free quiz that I have created that will show you the best way to create the perfect pitch for your brand. So again, that's the word pitches. Type PITCHES to the number 66866, and you will get a message that will tell you I'm going to be sending you the Bad Bitch Power Quiz, and it'll show you how to start pitching. And also, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to say this, but I have a podcast. It's called Pitching My Ass Off Podcast. And
I love it.
That's what you do. You pitch your ass off. So that's my podcast, and of course you can listen. It's a free resource, and you will learn something so beautiful each and every week. That's actionable, step by step, and will take you to the next level.
Perfect. I love it. Well,
yeah.
I was going to say for
so
everybody.
Many questions, but go ahead, Lisa.
I was going to say for everybody to go check that out because it's full of amazing information. I know that I'm going to be subscribing to it, and I'm also going to be texting that number because, I mean, we all could use a little help with our pitches, you know.
Word. Word.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Well, thanks again, Precious. We'll send. Thank you so much for having us, and we're going to be checking out amongst our community. Lots of people need to be hearing you and resonate with this. So we really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being a part of this.
Perfect.